Hello friends, welcome to whatever platform you might be watching this on. I'm Bryce and this is the inaugural episode of ranking everything that I watched from within the last week. Now I am going to do this a little bit differently in the fact that I'm going to still rank everything from my least favorite to my favorite, but I'm going to save my least favorite and most favorite movie till the very end in order to build suspense. Because if I did my least favorite thing, my very, very least favorite thing, all the way to my favorite thing, well then it would leave no suspense for what my favorite thing would be, which is no fun. I'll put timestamps on all of these, so if you're curious, you can feel free to fast forward to the very end, but if you stick around for the whole thing, I love you. And even if you fast forward to the end, I still love you. And if you feel very strongly, or if you love or if you hate any of the movies on this list, feel free to join me in the comments section below to have some fun, healthy discussion, because that is what makes this fun. Which leads me to my disclaimer. I liked every movie that I watched this week, at least to some degree, but you have to recognize the fact that something has to be the worst and something has to be the best. So if you feel passionately and strongly disagree about something, just join in on healthy conversation below. Don't be mean, because if you are mean, like I've seen people be on platforms, it takes all the fun out of it and it probably makes you look like a jerk, and we don't want that. This is designed to have some fun conversation because that's what movie is. They are fun, experiential events that we can talk about together. So if you're okay with that, what did I all watch this week that I'll be ranking? I watched the new movie that just came out called Marlowe. I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I watched Donnie Darko. I watched Enemy. I watched Magic Mike XXL. I watched Donnie Darko and I watched Southpaw. I probably said one movie twice in that because I counted 7 movies, but I only watched 6. That's okay, you get the idea. So sticking with my promise, my second least favorite thing that I watched this week turned out to be Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It's not to say that I didn't like this movie, it's just it didn't really make me feel strongly either way. I still had a fun time with it, but I'm just not going to remember it very much. The most memorable part about it is Jonathan Majors as Kang. This dude is going to be a superstar for the next 10 years. And I had some fun, healthy conversation with a person on Twitter yesterday. They were saying that Jonathan Majors is considered by everyone to be a star already, but I just don't think Jonathan Majors has quite the notoriety yet. Once Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has some time to marinate with people, once Creed 3 comes out, once King Dynasty comes out, I think he's going to be a notorious, bona fide superstar for years to come because this dude has all the talent in the world. I digress. The point is, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it was a fun time at the movies, but like I said, not going to remember it. Paul Rudd and everybody does their thing, but just not in a very memorable way. All right, coming up next is actually going to be a tie between Marlowe starring Liam Neeson and Magic Mike XXL starring Channing Tatum. The one thing that both of these movies had in common is that they provided me with a really good time that I just really like to escape with. Marlowe was in the vein of a crime mystery solving extravaganza, which I will say was a bit confusing at times, but it still got me to stop thinking about the real world for a couple of hours, which is all that I can really ask from movies. And it was really cool seeing Liam Neeson not so much in a fully bona fide action role like he's been in the last several years, like pretty much since Taken, seeing him kind of use this charm that he has to his acting job, seeing him have this bravado, this charisma. It was really cool and it worked really well for me, and I'm actually gonna probably publish a review for that movie later on today, if not throughout this week. I just went and saw the movie last night, so it's still fresh in my mind, but I really enjoyed the chemistry that he had with a particular character in this movie. I think all the acting performances were really solid. Nobody stuck out to me like a sore thumb as being particularly bad. The biggest crime, no pun intended, that the movie committed, I think, was having the murder mystery be a little bit confusing. I can't even say murder mystery, it's just a mystery. The mystery was a bit confusing for me, which was saved a little bit by the time the movie ended because they gave the proper exposition that mysteries needed in order to keep their audience engaged. That's the one exception I can think of to exposition in general, is that when you're trying to keep your audience involved in a complicated subject, sometimes it's needed, because if you alienate your audience, that's never a good thing. But nevertheless, Magic Mike XXL, also a really fun time that took me out of the real world for a couple hours that I really enjoyed. It is the definition of a road trip hangout fun time movie that stars some really talented people with some really interesting ideas with a lot of excellent charm, which I really enjoyed the addition of Donald Glover in this movie, even if it was only for 10-15 minutes, because I thought he really added something to the experience. The dude just has this like gentle aura about him, I think, that really helped convey the movie's message a lot further than I thought it could go. And also, I'm pretty sure I saw Michael Strahan in this movie as one of the male entertainers in this movie, which I thought was really interesting. Plus, Channing Tatum and Jada Pinkett Smith had some really interesting chemistry in this movie that I wasn't expecting. Jada Pinkett Smith is all time in this movie, and I could watch her performance all day long. Same with Channing Tatum. Like, just to see the talent that these guys can pull out and have some fun with is really, really cool. And I really felt like this group of male entertainers really enjoyed each other's company and were truly friends, which made the experience a lot more authentic. So I guess if I've got to edge out between Marlo and Magic Mike XXL, I probably might like Magic Mike XXL just a little bit more, but I still got to give it more thought on Marlo, so for now they're tied. Next up on the list is Donnie Darko starring Jake Gyllenhaal. If you couldn't tell from the list already, I watched 3 Jake Gyllenhaal movies this week. For whatever reason, I'm just really in a Jake Gyllenhaal mood. He really makes some good stuff, including Donnie Darko, which was one of the earliest movies in his career. This came out in 2001. I was a wee child then, and I think Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't much older. I think he had to be 19 or 20. He couldn't have been much older than that. I'll have to fact check myself later, but the reality is this movie was really good, albeit a little bit complicated. The movie poses some really interesting ideas, some really thought-provoking things. It's really a thinking person's movie, which isn't going to be for everybody, but for me, I love that stuff. It's one of those movies where you probably have to watch it 3 or 4 times over to really get the full effect of what exactly is going on with Donnie, because it gets really complex, like almost in the vein of a Christopher Nolan Tenet kind of movie complex. Like it gets really interesting and also really dark at points. But that complexity is what really made everything a lot more interesting, a lot more intricate, a lot more of this piece of meat, I guess you could say, that I could sink my teeth into and enjoy with some seasoning. And bonus points for this movie because, fun fact, Seth Rogen is in it, and this was his first appearance in a feature film. If you can believe that, I'm not kidding. Go ahead and Google it. Also, another bonus point because all the acting performances, of course, are excellent. The story is really ambitious, and Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal are both in this movie together, so I just thought that was an interesting little touch as well. And of course, this probably helped launch Jake Gyllenhaal's career because his acting performance in this, it's second to none. All right, so finally, we've come to the moment that you've all been waiting for. What was my least favorite and my favorite thing that I watched this week? It leaves 2 Jake Gyllenhaal movies on the table. It leaves us with Southpaw, directed by Antoine Fuqua, and also Enemy, directed by Denis Villeneuve. My favorite thing that I watched this week was Enemy, directed by Denis Villeneuve. This movie was incredible. This movie was also more of a thinking person's movie in the fact that it has some hidden messages and hidden meaning within it. It's kind of one of those things that once you get what's going on, you're like, aha, this is kind of fun. It's like a thrilling added twist. And for me, that just added the ammo to the fire because I was just so excited that when the light bulb finally went off in my head, I'm like, this whole movie, it totally works. I won't give away the twist because of spoilers. I don't believe in giving away spoilers, but all I'll say is that this movie almost reminded me of M. Night Shyamalan's Split, in that you've got like this multiple identity disorder kind of thing going on here, and explores that in deeper ideas. And it's really a story about battling your own subconscious in order to grow and evolve as a person, or to give into your temptations, or what your mind looks like when you try to fight those temptations. It's really fascinating, and for Denis Villeneuve to create this intricate experience is amazing. And the best part is, he still makes it digestible for a general audience, and I think that's what sets it above Donnie Darko. I think general audiences will have a harder time with Donnie Darko, but for Enemy, I think it's still digestible enough that everyone will still get the twist, and that will be enough to enjoy the movie even if you won't fully grasp it, which is okay. But for those who are interested in diving a little bit deeper, there is a lot of that opportunity in Enemy as well, which I have mushmouth today, which makes it so special. And the movie had me going for about the first half. I was trying to think of like, what is going on? And when you finally get it, it's like, yes, okay, this is what's happening. It's really rewarding for the viewer. Jake Gyllenhaal and Denis Villeneuve work very well together, and this was my favorite thing that I watched this week. My least favorite thing that I watched this week, unfortunately, also was a movie starring Jake Gyllenhaal called Southpaw. Southpaw had some really excellent performances in it. It had some really excellent cinematography. Antoine Fuqua captures these shots in a movie where I'm like, wow, like this enhances the experience. But the pitfall of this movie that just dropped it like a rock was that the script I thought was abysmal. I don't want to be mean. I just want to be honest and a little bit more candid. I just thought the script brought down the movie's experience a lot. Like the first half, nothing in the movie really stuck out to me. I thought I was watching the same movie that I've watched a million times before. It just didn't do anything to really stick out to me. It felt really formulaic. The movie had redeeming qualities for me to ultimately like and soft recommend it. If you guys want to watch it right now, it's on Netflix. But the redeeming qualities of it just weren't enough for me to really be gung-ho about it, which is unfortunate because I want to love every movie that I watch. It's just I only soft like this one. So friends, that will do it for this week. That is ranking everything from my least favorite to my favorite. Just to recap the list, from least favorite to most favorite, it goes Southpaw, it goes Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, it goes a tie between Marlowe and Magic Mike XXL, then Donnie Darko, and then my most favorite movie of the week, Enemy. Friends, if you feel strongly about any of the movies that I talked about, feel free to join in on the healthy discussion in the comments below. I would love to hear from you to have some fun. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to more very soon. I've been Bryce, and until next time, have a great day.